He knows a lot of colorful people. Hear all about it on My World with Jeff Jarrett.
Jim Cornette has a way with words, and he can give a profound.
Datacom is a proud supporter of ProView Networks. Datacom has portable AC units for rent. Applications include server rooms, retail outlets, healthcare facilities, laboratories, convenience stores and truck stops, events, concerts, and weddings. All of these units are 120-volt plug and play. Call Louis Ruffin today at 505-507-7722 or go to datacom.com to learn more.
Jeff Siembieda, JJ Buck, Micah, Josh produces for you today over on the ProView Network side, where you can watch the show worldwide on ProViewNetworks.com or statewide at Comcast Channel 26.
Hey, welcome to the Steve Davis Show.
Good morning. Welcome to Sports Desk live on Comcast Channel 26.
Welcome to The Point with Nick Rich.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 10, America Talking Out.
I'm Pastor Flora Padilla of Mending Broken Hearts.
Welcome to Henry T. Game Face Live, Comcast 26, and Big Bad ProView Network.
Often imitated, never duplicated. Welcome to Local Focus with Sebastian Noel.
Welcome, sports fans. It's that time of the week again. You are watching the Weekly Rundown.
Hey, welcome to Red Menace TV here on ProView Network.
Hello, I'm Steve Davis. You are watching Public Access TV.
Center fielder, Caden Bell on first. Here's the pitch to Heath. Struck him out. And great pitching by Alvarado. That'll do it for the Tigers in the top of the fifth.
A great crowd for a mid-afternoon game. Swing and a miss, and there's a strikeout, number 5 for Matt Romero.
Smith talking to the batter here. That's a, oh, wow. Nice, and that's an out.
What did I tell you? That one's that gets over the head of the right fielder. That's going to bring in 2 runs. As Adrian Martinez with the RBI double.
Towards the latter part. Pitch, and that's another way for a single. That's going to score 2. That makes the score 9-0. So RBI double. That's going to make it. That's it. It's 10 runs there.
1-0's the count. And this one's high. It's going deep. And it's going to fall in. He's digging for third, and he gets there. Ezra Mestas with the 3-bagger. He gets the triple, and 2 more runs scored.
Steal to third base.
He brought the hot sauce for strike 3.
Small ball team for Reed Fiegel this year. That one is hit on the line to left. It's going to send Avila back to the warning track, to the wall, and he's going to watch it go. It's a solo homer off the bat of Bo Kidd. One nothing Eagles. Just when we were talking about small ball, the Eagles play long ball. Put over with 2 outs here. That boy's well hit to left. Coming in on it is Morrison. He drops it, and the Ravens win it.
For your business or your home, with Milwaukee, you know you're getting your constant in Giannis, and then you were able to say, all right, is Chris Middleton or is Drew Holiday who's going to have that really good game? So they were able to overcome one of those guys wasn't having a great shooting night. The difference is the Suns they didn't have that number 3.
But there's two things. Is it the style or is it the fighter? Do styles win fights or do the fighters win the fight, just depending on who you are? Well, I mean, they're trying to play a certain type of game. Phoenix seems like they're trying to spread and shoot it. Whereas, you know, it appears to me that Milwaukee wants to be a little bit bigger and a little bit bulkier in the paint. And so if you want to change your team, are you trying to change your team to fit the narrative that won this series, which was, you know, a bigger, more physical lineup? Or are you going to, you know, stay with the Steph Curry type style of play with the spreading and shooting and, you know, the Atlanta Hawks and those kind of guys who are spreading it out and trying to shoot it? Now, Philadelphia is interesting to me because of a guy down low named Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons looked like he lost a little bit of confidence.
He lost all his confidence.
Yeah, but I mean, the number 1 seed is the number 1 seed. You're the best team in the NBA. You're the number 1. You're the number 1 team in the NBA. So, and that's what Philadelphia was. And teams like that, you know, are going to come back, and you know they're going to, you know, I'm starting to, you know, wonder, you know, guys who are physically breaking down towards the end of the season. Is this going to be a pattern? Is there going to be a pattern for Donovan Mitchell? Is there going to be a pattern for Joel Embiid to break down as the season goes on because they don't have the same work ethic as that strength and conditioning coach is looking at Giannis? Every strength and conditioning coach in America is looking over at Giannis Antetokounmpo and saying, hey, every football, basketball, baseball player, hockey, every athlete, soccer, this is how you need to be. This young man took his body from this, which is just a mere shell of who he is now, and became, you know, the world's greatest champion. And he says all the right things. He seems humble, in my opinion, in his efforts. And so I think a lot of athletes can learn a lot from Giannis and what he does and how he plays the game, and the fact that he wasn't, you know, he didn't turn himself off when he got injured. He was able to overcome injury, and now a lot of that has to do with his physical preparation, and a lot of guys can learn a lot from that.
Giannis Antetokounmpo, the best NBA Finals performance I have ever seen. Where do you rank if the Milwaukee Bucks are NBA champs, and what does this mean for the future? Is that crown starting to move? Can Giannis be the player we're asking who is next? The opening drive here on 95.9 FM and 610 The Sports Animal.
Highway 550 in Bernalillo has traffic pattern changes due to road repairs, causing eastbound services near the highway.
We're number 1 in New Mexico for a reason. It's the best fence you can own. Proudly serving New Mexico for over 50 years. At Valley Fence, the difference is clear. No fence too big, too small, or difficult. We handle them all at Valley Fence Company.
Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend. Visit clarkspet.com.
Dream Style Roofing tops them all. When your roof's worn out and needs to be replaced, we're gonna do it right, put a smile on your face. They're at home, things are looking up when you get your roof done by someone you can trust. Dream Style, a company name that's been around forever. No one does it better. You need a new roof, you know who to call. Dream Style Roofing tops them all.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Here at Legacy, we are here to disciple people by helping them connect with God, grow in relationships, and live generously.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend. Visit clarkspets.com.
A rogue virus, no jobs, sky-high tuition debt. Life is trying to put our generation on the sidelines. But we refuse to just sit back and watch it pass us by. Instead, watch us fly ahead. Watch us overcome anything. Watch us rise. Watch us change our world. Watch us become the next greatest generation.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Calling all football players, are you looking to develop your skills this season? It's never too late or too early to put in the work. Coach Carl Barrere and the Air Barrere program at 8 Grady's Performance Center provide comprehensive position training for aspiring football players at all levels. Whether you're looking to...
5.9 FM and AM 610, the sports animal.
There are kids that grew up in this world and never knew the Milwaukee Bucks as champions until today. 50 points from Giannis. Milwaukee 105, Phoenix 98. What a performance. Just what a NBA postseason overall. And I really do believe, something that we've talked about, that the league can use this as a jumping off point. You still got 1 or 2 more years left with LeBron able to make his run. You know, you got the Brooklyn Nets, that villain, the super team coming next year. But just look across the board. How does Devin Booker respond? To your point, Ned, is it the fighter or is it the style? What does he do in the offseason? Because his game is still that score, still that deadly threat on the perimeter, but he got pushed around. The physicality was a little bit too much for him last night. So how does he respond? Luka Doncic, Damian Lillard, run down the list. I think this is a huge moment for the NBA, for sports fans overall, because it wasn't traditional markets. And it still shows you got to invest a lot of money in players, because Drew Holiday was a big-time acquisition. But Giannis said, oh, super teams are easy. Well, you kind of became the super team because you are that good, and you got Drew Holiday on your squad. But I think it was an unbelievable postseason for the NBA to build off of. You have Phoenix, Milwaukee in the NBA Finals. 2 thumbs up for me for what we saw this postseason.
Yeah, I mean, I think, one of the things that really caught my attention is, the fundamentals and, just the actual execution of the fundamentals of a sport. And you watch Giannis, and you just cringe because he's at the free throw line. He's like that kid you're teaching how to shoot free throws for the first time, and he's going through the motions of actually like what a coach would.
Thinking it through in his head.
And you would think that there's a coach standing next to him. Okay, now pick your elbow up. Okay, put the ball in your right hand, cup the ball, squat, shoot, and like he's going through it in a kind of a elementary way in the way that he's shooting, and it really shows that the fundamentals and the execution of the fundamentals are important, because despite the fact that there's screaming people all around you, 18,000 screaming people, bodies falling all over you, it still comes down to the fundamentals and the execution of the actual act that gets you where you need to be, and Giannis is just a great example of it, because he's humble. He comes off as a guy who works, who shows that he has this work ethic, and that every kid that's watching saying, hey, look, if a guy can be watched by millions of people and actually go through the fundamentals of executing what he's being taught and not be embarrassed by that, I can do it as well.
That is a really good point, because we saw a player earlier this postseason, Ben Simmons, lose all confidence on the biggest stage, be under the basket for a layup, and not want to take a layup attempt. And that could have been something that crept into Giannis's head with the free throw shooting, struggling, not wanting the ball, not wanting to be in those moments. And he didn't shy away from it. And the biggest game of his career, with an NBA Finals victory on the line, goes 17 of 19 at the line.
Yeah, with the media coming at him, a guy who's the worst shooter you've ever seen. You can say what you want about Giannis, but he's the ugliest shooter you've ever seen, shooting three-pointers. The fact that he's taking a three-pointer, as bad as he's been ripped in the media about his three-point shooting, and he still goes out and shoots three-pointers, despite being ripped every single series, every single game. Please, Giannis, do not shoot three-pointers. The fact that he could do it, and like you said, Ben Simmons is complete opposite, would not do it. It shows you that you can actually have confidence in yourself, in your teachers, in your coaching, people that believe in you, and that's all he talked about, is the people that believed in him, and he trusted them. That's why he stayed in Milwaukee, and that's why they're champions today.
He is Ned James. It's JJ Buck with you. It's opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, The Sports Animal. Bobcat producing. Got Adrian, ProView Network. You can watch the show Comcast Channel 26. Also on our social media and all these social media feeds for ProView Networks. 2460610 is the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. Bruin James, what do you got for us today, man? What's up?
Good morning, guys. Good morning. Yeah. A couple observations. I'm going to stand on my box here for a little bit. I watched the game last night and seen Devin Booker and Andre Eaton. They were on a carton of the milk carton. You know what I mean? They disappeared, man. And watching Andre Eaton, every time they isolated him with Giannis, Giannis just drove right by him. He was like a matador, Ole, and you were talking about what could help Phoenix later on. You know what, guys? I think they're a one and done. I don't see them coming back. The reason I say that is because next year is going to be a full season. And I don't think Andre Eaton is capable of going the full length. And they're going to run into problems. He's going to be exposed. What happens when you get physical with Devin Booker? Is he going to disappear again? And another thing I got to say, wow, the fans, both fans on both sides were amazing, man. It was awesome. 65,000 people were outside, and man, it was crazy. And I just got to say, hey, Drew Holiday, man. Lou Alcindor and Drew Holiday. That's all I got to say. Take care, guys.
NBA champs for the Milwaukee Bucks and UCLA Bruins. Phoenix does have the Miami Heat feel to them. I think they have better pieces if you're going forward with Devin Booker. And I do believe DeAndre Ayton was one of the most improved players this postseason. But they were exposed last night on the biggest stage. And those guys are now going to be the ones that look in the mirror and say, all right, what are we going to do? How do we improve our game? Because Phoenix is going to have to make a big acquisition. I don't think just running it back with Chris Paul, who's a year older, is going to get you right back to this moment. And these are the ones, and Monty Williams said it after the game. This is what he feels like. This is the massive swings of emotion from the exuberation from, oh my gosh, I'm a champion, to having to deal with not being a champion.
It's a blur for me right now. I'm just thankful that God allowed me to be in this position, to be the head coach in the finals. It hurts badly, but I'm also grateful that we had this chance to play for a championship.
Yeah, and that's what I disagree with Bruin James is that this is a young team, and you can't just kind of dismiss them just because they lost in the NBA Finals. Aiden will be better. This is his second year. I mean, he's a young guy. I mean, he'll get stronger. He'll get better. This team was a number 2 seed in the playoffs, and so they are a formidable opponent. And whether they get back or not, that's to be determined. Sure, everybody needs to add pieces. The Lakers need to add pieces, even though they're probably going to be predicted to win next year. Everybody's got their issues. Are we going to get the? I'm trying to think of not James Harden. What's the other guy in Brooklyn?
Kyrie
Irving. Are we going to get Kyrie the prophet who wants to be religious have religious ceremonies in the pregame, or are we going to get a Kyrie Irving that's locked in that can handle a full season, and can handle a full playoff run, despite the fact that he had the sprained ankle. Look at Giannis has a hyperextended knee, and the guy comes back in a game because he knows how important it is, and he knows his body, and he's worked on his body. So those are kind of some of the things that you just have to be careful with younger players. You have to let younger players develop. I'm learning that lesson. You have to really wait and be patient, and I think Ayton and Booker will come along. I mean, they'll get better, they'll get stronger, and they'll be tougher down the road.
And those are the two big questions coming off of last night. Phoenix, are they one and done? Can they retool? What does the future hold for Chris Paul? And is this the moment we're looking, kind of waiting for what's next? Are you buying in to Giannis sliding up, going to superstar status? Because we try to reserve that slot 4 or 5. You don't want to throw that out there for everyone. But what he did last night, what he did in the postseason, everything that he responded to, it's time. That is an NBA superstar and an NBA champion. If you want to get yourself to the next level, be a champion of your everyday life, you need to be healthy, you need to be strong. F45 functional training. Fitness is important with F45 training. The program is fantastic because of what they're going to put you through. Full body functional fitness, and it's only going to cost you 45 minutes of your day. We're talking strength work, cardio work. With full body functional fitness, you're not going to overload one aspect of your body. You're not just going to be doing one thing for 45 minutes. The workouts are fantastic. I love the new program that they've dropped this last month. It keeps you going, the sets, the tempo. They vary it throughout the week. So check them out at f45training.com. Download the F45 app today to take a look at the schedule of classes, the description of the workouts, and sign up for your 7-day free trial. Get in and get going. You're going to love it. And in just 45 minutes, you're going to get yourself a high-intensity workout, fast, fun, and results driven. So check them out now, F45 Training. Download the app, get in to that Northeast Heights location, and get going. Team training, life-changing. I'll see you at F45.
Staples Connect has great prices for everything on your back-to-school list. Now,
Drive, Jeff Siembieda, JJ Buck. Mike, Josh produces for you today over on the ProView Network side, where you can watch the show worldwide on ProViewNetworks.com or statewide at Comcast Channel 26.
Hey, welcome to the Steve Davis Show.
Good morning and welcome to Sports Desk live on Comcast Channel 26.
Welcome to The Point with Nick Rich.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 10, America Talk It Out.
I'm Pastor Flora Padilla of Mending Broken Hearts.
Welcome to Henry T. Game Face Live, Comcast 26, and Big Bad ProView Network.
Often imitated, never duplicated. Welcome to Local Focus with Sebastian Noel.
Welcome, sports fans. It's that time of the week again. You are watching the Weekly Rundown.
Hey, welcome to Red Menace TV here on ProView Network.
Hello, I'm Steve Davis. You are watching Public Access TV.
Center fielder, Caden Bell on first. Here's the pitch to Heath. Struck him out. And great pitching by Alvarado. That'll do it for the Tigers in the top of the fifth.
A great crowd for a mid-afternoon game. Swing and a miss, and there's a strikeout, number 5 for Matt Romero.
Smith talking to the batter here. That's a, oh, wow. Nice, and that's an out.
What did I tell you? That one's that gets over the head of the right fielder. That's going to bring in 2 runs. As Adrian Martinez with the RBI double.
Towards the latter part. Pitch, and that's another way for a single. That's going to score 2. That makes the score 9-0. So RBI double. That's going to make it. That's it. It's 10 runs there.
1-0's the count. And this one's high. It's going deep. And it's going to fall in. He's digging for third, and he gets there. Ezra Mestas with the 3-bagger. He gets the triple, and 2 more runs scored.
Steal to third base.
He brought the hot sauce for strike 3.
Small ball team for Reed Fiegel this year. That one is hit on the line to left. It's going to send Avila back to the warning track, to the wall, and he's going to watch it go. It's a solo homer off the bat of Bo Kidd. One nothing Eagles. Just when we were talking about small ball, the Eagles played long ball. Good over with 2 outs here. That boy's well hit to left. Coming in on it is Morrison. He drops it, and the Ravens win it.
For your business or your home, Valley Fence stands alone. We're number 1 in New Mexico for a reason. It's the best fence you can own. Proudly serving New Mexico for over 50 years. At Valley Fence, the difference is clear. No fence too big, too small, or difficult. We handle them all at Valley Fence Company.
Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend. Visit clarkspet.com.
Dream Style Roofing tops them all. When your roof's worn out and needs to be replaced, we're gonna do it right, put a smile on your face. They're at home, things are looking up when you get your roof done by someone you can trust. Dream Style, a company name that's been around forever. No one does it better. You need a new roof, you know who to call. Dream Style Roofing tops them all.
Industries is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures.
Omas, 95.9 FM and AM 610. The Sports Animal. Sports Animal.
Mountain West Football Media Days begin later today in Las Vegas. Jeff Siembieda, they're covering it for the opening drive, and of course the presence he is with the New Mexico Bowl. We'll talk with Jarek Reed, Lobo Senior Safety, coming up at 9 a.m. The other player representative for New Mexico, we had Kyle Stapley on yesterday, Jarek Reed today. Those two players, and Danny Gonzalez representing UNM at Mountain West Media Days in Las Vegas. We'll get his thought on going into year two, what it meant to win those last two games of the season, and then just finally really getting a traditional offseason to start implementing all the things the new coaching staff really wants to put in, working with Rocky Long as a defensive coordinator. So looking forward to that conversation, and we have a lot to get into moving forward now too with the Mountain West. We'll get some of the media polls later today, get an idea of how others around the conference are feeling about New Mexico and what's on deck. I think it's going to be a really fun year for the Mountain West. I think there's a lot of stability at the important positions like quarterback throughout the league, but then also a lot of opportunity for teams to make a jump forward. It's the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, The Sports Animal. JJ Buck joined by Ned James this morning. Bobcat taking your calls. 246-0610 is Equan's Auto Care Hotline. Tommy on the opening drive. What's up, man?
What's up, guys? Tom of the Truth back at you. And Giannis, we can now say, is a superstar. But here's the question I have for you and for Ned. Hey, Ned, I'm going to call you Mr. Football because you're football expert over there, because I love your takes on football. But at this time, no, Mr. Paul didn't come through. I guess he's going to come back. I thought he might retire, but I guess he's going to run it again, maybe with the Suns. Maybe they can get another big man or something over there to help him out. But is right now Giannis, compared to Chris Paul at Chris Paul's peak, his best, who's the better player? Because I think Giannis is better right now than Chris Paul ever was. As far as, I know it's a different position, but what is your opinion on that? Because Giannis, to me, now, through this playoffs and through especially the finals, being down 0-2, has elevated himself to where I can say this guy is, I mean, I knew he was a really good player before, but I didn't put him on the superstar level status. That question, and also, is Giannis a better overall player than Chris Paul, even when Chris Paul was at his peak? And I'll hang up. I'll listen to you guys. Hey, great. Ned, we'll have to talk to football sometime. You know what I mean? But we'll get that closer with that cowboy talk, if you know what I'm saying. Bye, guys.
Well, then that one is, to his point, it's not just that they play different positions. They're just completely different athletes.
It's apples and oranges. And we talked earlier about styles and fighters. You know, do styles win fight, or do the fighters win the fight? You know, do you put a heavyweight in with the lightweight? You know, is it the style of fight, or how's that ever going to work? You know, so you know the fact that you want to compare two guys at two different positions at two different points in their career is really not fair. It's not fair to either one of those two guys. Giannis, can he be a Hall of Famer? Probably. Chris Paul is a Hall of Famer, and so you're comparing Hall of Famers that are two different. Chris Paul is a flyweight, and Giannis is kind of a middle to a heavyweight. So it's just you really can't compare the two in their styles and the way they fight, the way they play the game. Obviously, Giannis came up with the championship, and so it doesn't really diminish Chris Paul's greatness per se. in that, he was able to have this kind of a career and to have this kind of effect on several different teams. Giannis has just been on one team, and he's a young player. They have a young team in Phoenix. You just don't know what's going to happen next year. They've gained some confidence with getting to the conference finals. We don't know where Phoenix is going to go from here. We don't know what new, young, exciting players are coming up through the pipeline to change the game, so to speak. Giannis apparently looks like he's there. He's developing. You see his development in every, cringe-worthy shooting shot that he takes, whether he's at the free throw line or whether he's shooting a three-pointer. You're kind of like, ugh, God, is that a 12-year-old learning how to shoot for the first time? And so it's those kind of things that you're just not quite sure. But this guy's a two-time MVP.
And it's just the pure athleticism. Like, Giannis does things that other people can't do because of the way he's built, and he's able to take advantage of that. Like, Chris Paul is dependent on others as a point guard to make his stat line look good. But it is Giannis Antetokounmpo, the NBA Finals MVP, the NBA champion, and a superstar performance last night. What do you think of Milwaukee and Giannis? Moving forward, Phoenix, are they one and done? Can they get back? The NBA playoffs, 2 thumbs up. An NBA champion, Milwaukee Bucks. We've got a ton to get to this morning. A lot of coaching talk because it is media season. Don't call him by his first name. That coach does not like that. It's opening drive here on 95.9 FM AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Here at Legacy, we are here to disciple people by helping them connect with God, grow in relationships, and live generously.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend. Visit clarkspets.com.
A rogue virus, no jobs, sky-high tuition debt. Life is trying to put our generation on the sidelines. But we refuse to just sit back and watch it pass us by. Instead, watch us fly ahead. Watch us overcome anything. Watch us rise. Watch us change our world. Watch us become the next greatest generation.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a #1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Calling all football players, are you looking to develop your skills this season? It's never too late or too early to put in the work. Coach Carl Barrere and the Air Barrere program at 8 Grady's Performance Center provide comprehensive position training for aspiring football players at all levels. Whether you're looking to increase your speed, gain strength, or hone your skill, we train all positions with a team of experienced coaches who know what it takes to succeed at all levels from Yaffle to college. Check us out at 8gradys.com to learn more and sign up for training today.
Jackson Compaction wants to help you keep your green.
And keep the community green as well.
Jackson Compaction has worked hard to maintain the same prices since day one. Always easy and painless trash removal with professional crews and quality service. If it's non-hazardous waste, debris, or trash on your land, leave it to us. At Jackson Compaction, we're dedicated to ensuring the conservation of our environment.
You trash it,
we smash it. Jackson Compaction, we've earned a reputation for great results.
Turbo Threads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sports shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. Turbo Threads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for Turbo Threads.
Sports Animal. Now, voted the best sports show in New Mexico for 5 years running. This is the opening drive with two-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Siembieda, and JJ Buck.
Well, it's talking season. When is it not talking season? We're sitting here in front of microphones reacting to everything that we've seen, but it's media day time around the country. Mountain West football will get going this afternoon in Las Vegas. Jeff Siembieda, they're covering the Mountain West, and he'll be back on Friday. But if it's part of talking season, opinions, and what happens when you have opinions. Some people do not agree with said opinions. The opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, The Sports Animal. JJ Buck, Ned James, Bobcat, Adrian producing on ProView Network. Sketch Show, Comcast Channel 26. Also on social media, you can just find ProView Networks on Facebook, give them a like, and watch the show each and every day. So Dabo Swinney is one of those dudes that does not like anything that is changing in college football. He said he would stop coaching if players got paid. Well, I guess NIL isn't players getting paid, because I haven't seen him give back his salary at this point in time. And now he's going in on the college football playoff expansion. He says, quote, on it potentially going to 12, which they're going to vote on and try to finalize over the next year or so, and all the committees and people that need to make those decisions final. He says, our team isn't for it. They don't want to play more games. And to be honest with you, I don't know if there's 12 teams good enough. So you're going to play more games just to play more games. And I think the more you expand it, the less important the season becomes, and the more you become the NFL as far as, all right, you're in the playoffs. Well, you know, why play Trevor in this game if you're already in? All of a sudden, you're not in the top 12, and kids just aren't playing. Okay, that's a common theme, that if you expand the college football playoffs, the season takes on less of an importance. It gives you a slim margin for error if you're still one of those top teams. But I think with what's being presented and potential home games in the first round of these playoffs, that actually puts more importance on the regular season. So you don't have one of those games that comes up and gets you, so you can host a playoff matchup, so you can be a team that gets one of those first four buys. But Dabo Swinney pushing back on a lot of the change. I think college football, college athletics right now is still trying to figure out what this all means, because it came at them fast. Life hit the NCAA hard, and you have Mark Emmert, of all people, sitting back going, you know what? This might just not work anymore. Yes, there is a lot to deal with, but to me, if you say, oh, we're becoming more like the NFL, well, where have you been, Dabo? Have you not seen what college football have you done? Have you not seen now the interest that these players are generating? Heck, Nick Saban dropped it out there that Bryce Young, who hasn't started a game for Alabama, he was named their starting quarterback, the sophomore, could already be upwards of $1 million in endorsements. Welcome to the real and new world, Dabo Swinney.
Yes, that salary cap down south in the SEC that everybody criticized me for talking about for years has now expanded to Major League Baseball salary cap. Whereas you got the Yankees, and then you got the Twins of some teams like the Mountain West, UTEP, and places like that. But that's going to all change, because where is the center of business is in the United States of America and corporate America? Well, it's on the West Coast and it's on the East Coast. It's in New York and it's in California. Now, are these corporations going to start fueling or funneling money into these universities in these areas? Do these kids start making a little bit more money? And people are saying, oh, they're not going to make money at New Mexico. Well, hold up now. We've got some oil guys down south in Hobbs and those kind of places that have a little cash, and maybe they want to spread it around a little bit. It all comes down to what is important to the particular region of football that you're in. And so the SEC and the Dabo Sweeties and y'all come on down here now. We're going to have 95,000 folks here at Legion Field here in Alabama, and they're going to start paying these players. Now, players are going to take the money and run. In some places, they may make the money and say, hey, this is enough. I'm not going to play anymore. Or they may continue to play. So I just think, this whole idea that Dabo has with, the playoffs and the fact that there's not 12 good teams, I totally disagree, because teams are going to start getting better the more this money starts coming into play in all these different regions of the country. And so that's how I look at it when I heard Dabo Swinney saying that, because he's just being disingenuous because he wants the South
did you really
to be much better than everybody else.
Right? And did you really take the pulse of your team? Because Mac Brown, coach at North Carolina, also said earlier this month that his players were against the 12-team playoff. Really? Your players said no to that? How are they getting into a 4-team playoff, Mac? You're not going to be one of the 4 best teams. So you're telling me that these college football athletes are like, no, I don't want a chance to play for a national title. Now, I'm good with that. 1 or 2 more football games, no, that's just too much for me. I can't handle that. I think that is such a ridiculous talking point from these coaches saying, oh, our players don't want to play more football. Really? If you're telling them that they get to lace it up for a chance to play in the college football playoffs, they're all in. And it is changing the game a bit, but that's what we want. Yeah. We want competition. And when you have college football, if you're saying there's 30 teams that you say, hey, these are Division I football teams, you're still only giving 12 of them a chance to play for a title. Yeah. So it's not like all of a sudden you're saying, oh, Mountain West number 4, here's your spot in the college football playoff. Oh, let's give Sunbelt number 3 an opportunity. No, you're still going to have to win your conference championship. You're still getting your 2 or 3 teams from the SEC, Big Ten, etc. in there. It's not watering it down all that much like they're saying.
It's really absurd to hear a coach say that the players don't want to play. Now, did he talk to the players' union rep? Do the players have a union? Are they deciding on what games they get allowed to have to play based on their union contracts in college football, college basketball, college baseball, whatever? It's an open market now. I mean, you got guys. If I'm making $1 million and I'm Bryce Young at Alabama, I'm kind of set in 2 or 3 years. Maybe I don't want to play football anymore. I have other options. It becomes that kind of. I can see where I'm just talking, through a coach's mind, because a coach, one of the things that coaches would always say to me when I went from college coaching football to NFL coaching football, Ned, how do you do it? How do you coach a guy who makes more money than you? Well, now college guys are going to have to answer this. How do you think those Fresno State women's basketball coaches feel now that those 2 girls from TikTok, or over 2 million followers, are going to be making more money than they are? Now, how do you handle that with a young person? Those are the things that we're talking about all this other stuff. Those are the things that haven't even come up yet. We've got people here. We got kids over here at UNM that are trying to, kind of promote themselves and kind of, get their financial well-being put in place based on these name, image, and likeness. So it's a whole different ballgame. These coaches are scrambling now because there is no union with the players. So it's an open market, and so there's where the frustration lies with a lot of these coaches.
It's a lot of newness right away. There's still not a great structure for it yet. They're still kind of learning as they go. But to me, I look at the landscape overall, and in a 12-team playoff, I think that's good for college football when you try to broaden the game. Because college football, it's still, you look at it, a lot of people say, all right, that's number 2. If you start ranking, all right, what is getting people involved? But if you go to 12, you get your conference champ from your 5 power conferences. You drop in a highest rated team. Maybe you even get another wild card team that sneaks in there that's not a traditional power. That's how you start expanding the game. That's how you get people to care overall instead of just maybe looking at the Final Four. And it doesn't eliminate the bowl system, because when you have so many teams playing for one thing, you still get your exhibition games that count in the bowl system, but you open it up, you give teams a chance, you give teams that win conference championships an opportunity to play for a title, and I think that is good for the sport. And I think a lot of it, as you said, Ned, was just some of the frustration from coaches that are so accustomed to how things have worked, and it's different now.
Yeah, and they're uncomfortable with the whole feeling of having the players be empowered in a lot of ways. It's frustrating. You know, what's curious to me, I think it would come from high school guys, high school coaches. I mean, the high school coach at Pecos High School who is coaching football, basketball, or whatever, or Highlands High School, whatever, you pick a high school, and, you know, you've got a kid on the team who's a millionaire. Now, his parents are going to have some influence on, you know, whether he gets playing time or not, or he doesn't. So that's how college is going to be now. Now you got a kid who's making $1 million, you know, like this Bryce Young kid. Now, how does Saban handle this kid? How do you handle a kid with $1 million in his pocket, and he's 14, 15, 16, or if he's, you know, 18, 19, 20? I mean, those are the issues that those guys are dealing with. The playoffs are just a small part of it. I mean, the playoffs benefits, you know, TV, it benefits, you know, maybe, I don't know, conferences who never had a chance to compete for a championship. That's all well and good. But, you know, these kids are probably looking, well, what are we going to get paid to get into the playoffs? You know, when the NFL goes to the playoffs, you know, there's a compensation package for going to the playoffs. Do we get compensated for each round of the playoffs we go? In the NFL, you get compensated for each round you go into the playoffs. So, I mean, the players may start demanding some sort of, you know, compensation for maybe going into the NCAA basketball tournament. You know, there's all these things that are up in the air now, and that's why the universities are screaming to Congress to enact something soon to kind of put the reins on this before it gets out of control. And I mean, the playoffs is just, you know, it's just a small piece of this whole bigger pie, the bigger issue that's going to start coming up with a lot of these young players.
Yes, we're seeing dramatic changes in college athletics, but is it for the better? I think ultimately all of these things will work out. We're not going to see college sports fall, but when we're talking about millions of dollars, billions, sometimes when you put it all together, you're going to have to deal with some challenges when certain people, in this case, these student athletes, start to get a little piece of that pie. 246-0610 is the Quan's Auto Care hotline. You can email the show, jj@sportsanimabq.com, and the NMDOT text line is 505-246-0610. We'll come back on the other side. Speaking of coaching, one coach does not like to be called by his first name. How dare you address a coach by his first name? It's opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Turbo Threads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. Turbo Threads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for Turbo Threads.
Next in line.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks. DCE Systems want to help schools reopen and keep students, teachers, and staff safe. New Mexico's distributor of no-valent Shield Plus, an antimicrobial hand sanitizer that lasts 24 hours. That's right, 24 hours. 1 liter will provide approximately 2,000 individual applications. Call Louis Ruffin today at 505-507-7722 or go to DCESystemsINC.com to learn more. DCE Systems is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend. Visit clarkspets.com.
Center fielder, Cade Bell on first. Here's the pitch to Heath. Struck him out. And great pitching by Alvarado. That'll do it for the Tigers in the top of the fifth. A great crowd for a mid-afternoon game. Swing and a miss, and there's a strikeout, number 5 for Matt Romero.
Smith talking to the batter here. That's a, oh, wow. Nice, and that's an out.
What did I tell you? That gets over the head of the right fielder. That's going to bring in 2 runs. As Adrian Martinez with the RBI double. Just towards the latter part. Pitch, and that's another way for a single. That's going to score 2. That makes the score 9-0. So RBI double. That's going to make it. That's it. It's 10 runs there. 1-0's the count. And this one's high. It's going deep. And it's going to fall in. He's digging for third, and he gets there. Ezra Mestas with the 3-bagger. He gets the triple, and 2 more runs scored.
Steal to third base.
And he brought the hot sauce for strike 3.
Small ball team for Reed Fiegel this year. That one is hit on the line to left. It's going to send Avila back to the warning track, to the wall, and he's going to watch it go. It's a solo homer off the bat of Bo Kidd. One nothing Eagles. Just when we were talking about small ball, the Eagles play long ball. That boy's well hit to left. Coming in on it is Morrison. He drops it, and the Ravens win it.
Drive, Jeff Siembieda, JJ Buck. Micah, Josh produces for you today over on the ProView Network side, where you can watch the show worldwide on ProViewNetworks.com or statewide on Comcast Channel 26.
Hey, welcome to the Steve Davis Show.
Good morning and welcome to Sports Desk live on Comcast Channel 26.
Welcome to The Point with Nick Rich.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 10, America Talking Out.
I'm Pastor Flora Padilla.
Well, this one wasn't about money. It was about respect, but was it really? The opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal. We're going to hear a lot of conversations. Jeff Siembieda in Las Vegas as Mountain West Media Days get underway this afternoon. He's going to sit down with coaches, and he'll introduce them. Like, oh, here with Wyoming head coach Craig Bohl, here with Hawaii head coach Todd Graham. But as the conversation goes on, he'll go, all right, Todd, Craig, etc. It's how these conversations usually work. But if you're Deion Sanders, do not call him Deion. So SWAC Media Days. Yes, we're talking SWAC because Deion Sanders, head coach at Jackson State, did not appreciate when a reporter asked him, hey, Deion, and he said, oh, hold up. That's not how this is going to go.
Hey, Dion, I was just wondering if you could...
Oh, let's back up a little bit. You don't call Nick Saban Nick. Don't call me Dion. Okay?
I call Nick Saban Nick.
You don't. No, you don't. No, you don't. That's a lie. If you call Nick Nick, you know you'll get cussed out on the spot. So don't do that to me. Treat me like Nick.
Dion. Just,
And that, what you heard there was Deion Sanders taking off his headset, getting up and walking out of this Zoom Media Day. So do not call Coach Deion Sanders Dion. Coach Prime? Yeah. Coach Sanders. So here's the thing. This blew up last night. Going, of course this was Deion Sanders. And the people saying, well, this is all planned. We're talking about Jackson State. No, we're not. We're talking about Deion Sanders. We're not talking about the talent at Jackson State. We're not talking about the SWAC. We're talking about Deion Sanders being called by his name. Now, I take a step back and go, all right, did he start the press conference by going, please address me as Coach Sanders or Coach Prime, which, by the way, is not all that professional. But the way he handled it was ridiculous. He called you Dion. He didn't call you, like, Neon Dion. He didn't go, what's up, Prime? Which he might have actually enjoyed more than being called Dion. But then just outright dropping, you call Nick Saban Nick, and he's going to start cursing out. Yeah. I just watched Nick Saban on TV 10 minutes ago doing an interview on ESPN, and they're like, thanks, Nick. He's like, thank you.
Okay. There's two ways to look at this. You're coming at it from the journalist side. I respect that, and that's fine and well. And you have that professional title for a reason. You're a journalist. I'm not a journalist. I'm an opinionist. So I give respect to guys who do journalism. No. I give journalist to me separates the guys who do it as a living, as opposed to guys who don't. But there's two parts to it. It's that part, and it's the Bob and Ned part of it, which are guys with gray on their face. When you're an older person, and Dion is trying to have it both ways. He wants to be, and all these coaches are the same way. They all want the attention on them. So it's either when you were doing press conferences at UNM, you would address Coach Davey as Coach, or you would say Coach Davey. Very rarely would you say Bob. And only I'm saying that, Jay, because you don't have gray on your face. You don't have. And what I mean by that is that when a person is younger, old guys like myself and Bob, you can help me out with this if you need to. If there's a young kid,
I have a lot of gray on me.
If there's a young guy walking through the halls here, Bob, and that guy says, and the young person comes up to you and says, hey, Bob, and he's 15, 16. We grew up in an age where you addressed adults as sir or Mr. or by their last name. And I remember this because it's a cultural thing in some respects. And I think because Deion's in the Deep South, I think a lot of it, I just know when I coached and worked in the South, it was yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes, sir, no, sir. And I think a lot of that comes from that, particularly when you're an older person and a younger person. And it goes back to, why Bobby Knight got fired at Indiana. Hey, Knight, a young person comes up to you. You don't address me as that. You address me as Mr. Knight or Coach Knight. And that was why he was fired. So it's a generational thing. And I knew when I was a kid growing up, I remember going in the suburbs, and I was in liberal California, and it just shocked me because my parents were Southerners, and it was always Mr. James or Mr. Smith or whoever or sir, ma'am. And my friends who were wealthier out in the suburbs, they would address adults by their first name. They would say, hey, Gary, hey, Jim. And so a lot of that has to do with that. And then you go to the journalism part where, as a professional, you should be able to address another professional, despite your age difference, in a professional way. If it's professional to say Dion, or if it's professional to say, Nick, however, you do that despite your age difference. But there is the respect level culturally sometimes, and sometimes because of age. Bob, you're not helping me out at all, because you're supposed to be jumping in.
When I was growing up, my parents' adult friends were addressed as aunt or uncle or Mr. or Mrs. But in a professional setting, like here at the station, everybody calls everybody, it's not, hello, producer Bob, it's just Bob. But in this situation, I always address somebody with a title that's been earned, like a doctor.
And that could be demographics, yeah, like doctor and coach. But if you're in the South, those young people in the South, it doesn't matter if you're in a studio like this. They're going to say Mr. Bob. They're not going to say, hey, Bob. They're not going to say, I'm just saying because of my experience working in that region of the country. In the West, it's a little more liberal. Kids don't feel, or young people don't feel as I don't know, traditional.
Well, if I'm sitting here on a Zoom press conference call, and that's what it was for WAC Media Days, I'm not going to look at Deion Sanders and go, sir. I'm not.
You're not going to say coach if it's an older. If a guy has got a gray beard.
Like when we had Bob Davey on the show Monday mornings, I'd call him Bob.
Okay. Because we're more liberal. In the Deep South, I'm telling you, young people address adults differently. They address
handled it. That's my issue.
Now the handle, the way he handled it, but he's a celebrity. He's really not. Yeah.
If you want to say, you know what, I'd like to go by Coach Sanders.
Right.
And the few times I've done interviews, I've always asked the person beforehand, how would you like to be addressed? That's just a courtesy, do you want to be Coach or Bob or hey you or you're late for dinner?
And this is one where you're just looking back on it. Is Deion Sanders? It was a moment that brings the recognition you want for Jackson State. Because then later in the day, you find out that this same paper that this reporter was from, the Clarion Ledger, reported a story on Jackson State, their highest ranked high school recruit that they have signed, has a domestic violence allegation against him. And what did they do? They said, well, you can't cover our program anymore. This is all stuff that is not, I don't care if you're Deion Sanders. Like, this is all stuff that's not going to get people to follow your program. Yeah. This is stuff that's going to get people going into.
Now we're chasing. Now we're going after Deion. Now, the issue is not necessarily, Deion person. It's whether you address someone by, a surname, Mr. or Doctor or Sir or Coach or what have you, or do you call him by his common first name? Do you say, hey, Bob? Do you say, hey, especially when the person has gray on his face, it's an older person's been established, it's a person who's, a lot of times people don't realize that the cultural differences with people, especially when you're in an environment where, maybe there hasn't been that respect. And I use the word culture because I'm trying to figure out how to do this sensitively. I just recall a time, I'm talking about my mom growing up in the Deep South where, and this is in a time and a place, the segregated South, it's in, in the 30s, 40s, 50s, whatever. And, because of the segregation, because of that issue, blacks weren't allowed to address whites by their first name. So you had to call them Mrs. Johnson, Mrs. Smith. But the young kids could call the black adults by their first name. And so my mom was, and I go back to her because I grew up in a multicultural environment where I had white friends, Jewish friends, Mexican friends. And so my mom made it a point that if a young person ever talked to her, they would always have to call her Mrs. James. And so older people want that respect, and I think a lot of that has to do with, culturally how you were raised and how things have changed over time and people just wanting respect. I think Deion took offense, and it's Deion, he's a guy who calls himself Prime or whatever, that's immature, but I think the respect thing was much more what Deion was looking for from a reporter, a journalist, and then the journalist's snide comment was, hey, I'm going to call you what I want to call you, and he could have took the high road and said, okay, Mr. Sanders, I'll call you Mr. Sanders if that's what you want. But instead, it became antagonistic, and the guy who was probably a lot younger, Deion's older, probably said, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to call you Deion. So I'm going to make it and so Deion was just looking for a little respect, and I understand maybe Deion is just not kind of the guy you would really kind of want to afford that to, but at the same time, I do understand it culturally, and I understand it from an older person's perspective, looking at it from a younger person's perspective.
Deion Sanders making some noise. Jackson State going into year 2 with Coach Prime at the helm. At the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Eastbound Paseo, there's an
Mending broken hearts.
Welcome to Henry T. Game Face Live, Comcast 26, and Big Bad ProView Network.
Often imitated, never duplicated. Welcome to Local Focus with Sebastian Noel.
Welcome, sports fans. It's that time of the week again. You are watching the Weekly Rundown.
Hey, welcome to Red Menace TV here on ProView Network. Hello, I'm Steve Davis. You are watching Public Access TV.
Center fielder, Caden Bell on first. Here's the pitch to Heath. Struck him out. And great pitching by Alvarado. That'll do it for the Tigers in the top of the fifth.
A great crowd for a mid-afternoon game. Swing and a miss, and there's a strikeout, number 5 for Matt Romero.
Smith talking to the batter here. That's a, oh, wow. Nice, and that's an out.
What did I tell you? That one's that gets over the head of the right fielder. That's going to bring in 2 runs. As Adrian Martinez with the RBI double.
Towards the latter part. Pitch, and that's other way for a single. That's going to score 2. That makes the score 9-0. So RBI double. That's going to make it. That's it. It's 10 runs there.
1-0's the count. And this one's high. It's going deep. And it's going to fall in. He's digging for third, and he gets there. Ezra Mestas with the 3-bagger. He gets the triple, and 2 more runs scored.
Steal to third base.
He brought the hot sauce for strike 3.
Small ball team for Reed Fiegel this year. That one is hit on the line to left. It's going to send Avila back to the warning track, to the wall, and he's going to watch it go. It's a solo homer off the bat of Bo Kidd. One nothing Eagles. Just when we were talking about small ball, the Eagles play long ball. Put over with 2 outs here. That boy's well hit to left. Coming in on it is Morrison. He drops it, and the Ravens win it.
For your business or your home, Valley Fence stands alone. We're #1 in New Mexico for a reason. It's the best fence you can own. Proudly serving New Mexico for over 50 years. At Valley Fence, the difference is clear. No fence too big, too small, or difficult. We handle them all at Valley Fence Company.
Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend. Visit clarkspet.com.
Dream Style Roofing tops them all. When your roof's worn out and needs to be replaced, we're gonna do it right, put a smile on your face. They're at home, things are looking up when you get your roof done by someone you can trust. Dream Style, a company name that's been around forever. No one does it better. You need a new roof, you know who to call. Dream Style Roofing tops them all.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
610, the sports animal.
A lot going on in the college sports world. Media days are upon us. You're going to get our moments. You're going to get your talking points. It is also cliche season. But then you got Deion Sanders. Are we talking about Jackson State or are we talking about Coach Prime? They always say any publicity is good publicity. But this is just one of those ones where you wonder, was it necessary? Like, what is Deion getting out of it? What is the slack? What is Jackson State
a little personal
getting out of this situation? It obviously was personal for Deion Sanders in that moment. Also talking about how some of these coaches are addressing the future of college athletics, whether it's a 12-team college football playoff, name, image, and likeness. And one texter hits us up on the NMDOT text line saying the players and coaches are stating they're disinterested in playing one or two additional unimportant, meaningless games, the likely result of the college football playoff schedule being expanded to 12 teams. How do you see that's a likely result? How do you see it expanding means games are less meaningful? That's making the assumption that teams like Clemson are going to be that far ahead of everybody, are not going to be in a situation to have to win games.
Yeah, just opt out if you don't want to be the 12th. Say, hey, let somebody else take my spot. There won't be any teams doing that.
We're talking about one or two more games in the playoffs, not the regular season.
Right.
So I don't know. Dabo, what he's saying is, and I get it, we're that much better than everyone else. So come week 8, we're not going to need to play our guys because we'll just go win our conference championship and get in. Okay. That's your decision. That's an element of sport. But then if you don't want to play your guys, that's your decision. It's not because the college football playoff expanded. Like, if you think you can go out there and beat everyone with your backups, go do it.
No. But that's assuming that you think you have the best players in the country and that the top 5 or the top 4 teams, they've proven themselves by winning the amount of games that they've won so far. They don't respect the other conferences. They don't respect the other regions of the country. That's why I said, the SEC believes that those guys and those kids down there, they absolutely believe that they invented college football. And there's football played west of the Mississippi River. There's football played north of the Mason-Dixon line, even though SEC folks don't really necessarily believe that. And, now that the salary cap has changed, the SEC is getting a little nervous because their salary cap is broken.
It's out in the open now.
Yeah, it's out in the open now. When a guy from Alabama can get $1 million, he hasn't even taken a snap yet. The quarterback in Alabama, he's probably taking a pay cut now that everything is out in the open.
The documentation on that one. Guess what, y'all? It ain't free money. It's still taxable money, and that's something these kids are going to learn as well.
Yeah, they're not getting the cash payments anymore like they used to down there in the SEC. So, there's no bag man anymore. Now Uncle Sam has gotten into the picture with them. They're going to see a little bit of different dynamic here. There's going to be all kinds of lawyers.
My money? Yep.
And now you're going to be paying fees to marketing reps. You're going to be paying fees to agents. I mean, how does all that stuff figure in? The NCAA's got rules on agents, and that's why we talked about this a little bit off air. Congress is going to have to act. I mean, the schools, the universities are screaming for Congress to act, to put something in place to kind of reel this in, and Congress is hesitant to do it because of the free market.
Well, and that's what their statement is. What you saw with the name, image, and likeness is they're not going to put a cap on this or say, figure it out. If a player makes $1 million, so be it. It's just now you just have to document. everything and deal with the realities of what an income is like that.
And believe you me, if you don't figure it out, the attorneys will, because these lawyers have got money to make, and they're going to make money off of this. I mean, you're gonna have all kinds of issues and conflicts, and who has the right to do this, who has the right to sell this, and so there's going to be all kinds of litigation I see coming forth if we don't get this whole thing tied up somehow through a union with the players or some sort of Congress enactment to kind of quell some of the free openness of what these athletes are going to be able to do.
2460610, Quan's Auto Care Hotline. Edward, you're on the opening drive. What's up, Edward?
Good morning, gentlemen. Nedward James, I must say, you and I don't always see eye to eye, particularly on the greatest player in the history of the NFL, Thomas Edward Brady. But we do have some common links. You and I both know Terrell Owens personally and are big fans of him. I've actually done some work with Primetime during, the pinnacle of his career. And there's three things I want to say to you this morning. I'm very proud of you. And this might be your best work after listening to you for several months. Number one, your point on Kobe being Allen Houston with a better dribble, 100% agreement. Mic drop. Two, when I officiated in college just to make extra money, I must have officiated from high school kids to youth to former college players. I always share the story. I've never heard a team or player or coach say, you know what, we got beat by a better team. It was always an excuse. For you to say today on this show, hey, there's a reason why I didn't make the NFL. I just wasn't good enough. Full props to you for acknowledgement, and you had a great career, and I think you do some great things now. So for you to be able to admit that and say it wasn't an injury, I got screwed by the coach, whatever, the myriad of excuses that people come up with, I give you mad props for that. And then thirdly, for you to illustrate the Deep South social graces or lack thereof and give your example was stellar. Knowing Dion, and I haven't talked to him in a few years, right? But I think that you eloquently laid that out and said it was stellar. Knowing Dion, and I haven't talked to him in a few years, right? But I think that you eloquently laid that out and said it.
Here at Legacy, we are here to disciple people by helping them connect with God, grow in relationships, and live generously.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend. Visit clarkspet.com.
A rogue virus, no jobs, sky-high tuition debt. Life is trying to put our generation on the sidelines. But we refuse to just sit back and watch it pass us by. Instead, watch us fly ahead. Watch us overcome anything. Watch us rise. Watch us change our world. Watch us become the next greatest generation.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Calling all football players, are you looking to develop your skills this season? It's never too late or too early to put in the work. Coach Carl Barrere and the Air Barrere program at 8 Grady's Performance Center provide comprehensive position training for aspiring football players at all levels. Whether you're looking to increase your speed, gain strength, or hone your skill, we train all positions with a team of experienced coaches who know what it takes to succeed at all levels from Yaffle to college. Check us out at 8gradys.com to learn more and sign up for training today.
Jackson Compaction wants to help you keep your green and keep the community green as well. Jackson Compaction has worked hard to maintain the same prices since day one. Always easy and painless trash removal with professional crews and quality service. If it's non-hazardous waste, debris, or trash on your land, leave it to us. At Jackson Compaction, we're dedicated to ensuring the conservation of our environment. You trash it, we smash it. Jackson Compaction, we've earned a reputation for great results.
Turbo Threads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks. Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. Turbo Threads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for Turbo Threads.
Next in line.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks. DCE Systems want to help schools reopen and keep students, teachers, and staff safe. New Mexico's distributor of no-valent Shield Plus, an antimicrobial hand sanitizer that lasts 24 hours. That's right, 24 hours. 1 liter will provide approximately 2,000 individual applications. Call Louis Ruffin today at 505-507-7722 or go to DCESystemsInc.com to learn more. DCE Systems is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend. Visit clarkspet.com.
center fielder. Caden Bell on first. Here's the pitch to Heath. Struck him out. And great pitching by Alvarado. That'll do it for the Tigers in the top of the fifth.
A great crowd for a mid-afternoon game. Swing and a miss, and there's a strikeout, number 5 for Matt Romero.
Smith talking to the batter here.
Swing and a miss, and there's a strikeout, number 5 for Matt Romero.
Smith talking to the batter here. That's a, oh, wow. Nice, and that's an out.
What did I tell you? That one's that gets over the head of the right fielder. That's going to bring in 2 runs. As Adrian Martinez with the RBI double.
Towards the latter part. Pitch, and that's another way for a single. That's going to score 2. That makes the score 9-0. So RBI double. That's going to make it. That's it. It's 10 runs there.
1-0's the count. And this one's high. It's going deep. And it's going to fall in. He's digging for third, and he gets there. Ezra Mestas with the 3-bagger. He gets the triple, and 2 more runs scored.
Steal to third base.
He brought the hot sauce for strike 3.
Small ball team for Reed Fiegel this year. That one is hit on the line to left. It's going to send Avila back to the warning track, to the wall, and he's going to watch it go. It's a solo homer off the bat of Bo Kidd. One nothing Eagles. Just when we were talking about small ball, the Eagles play long ball. Put over with 2 outs here. That boy's well hit to left. Coming in on it is Morrison. He drops it, and the Ravens win it.
you sure we're supposed to be doing this?
Don't worry, I've watched him do it 1,000 times. Come on, what's the worst that can happen?
No! Bad dog!
Hi, welcome to Car Crafters. What happened?
Don't worry, we'll make it like it never happened.
Car Crafters, it's like it never happened.
Car Crafters is a proud supporter of ProView Networks. Datacom is a proud supporter of ProView Networks. Datacom has portable AC units for rent. Applications include server rooms, retail outlets, healthcare facilities, laboratories, convenience stores and truck stops, events, concerts, and weddings. All of these units are 120-volt plug and play. Call Louis Ruffin today at 505-507-7722 or go to datacom.com to learn more.
Drive, Jeff Siembieda, JJ Buck, Micah, Josh produces for you today over on the ProView Network side, where you can watch the show worldwide on ProViewNetworks.com or statewide at Comcast Channel 26.
Now, voted the best sports show in New Mexico for 5 years running. This is the opening drive with two-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Siembieda, and JJ Buck.
Well, Jeff Siembieda is in Las Vegas as he's getting ready for Mountain West Media Days, which get going later today. As we are back, teams bringing their representatives. The Lobos have Kyle Stapley, Jarek Reed, and Coach Danny Gonzalez representing them as we look forward to the 2021 football season's opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, The Sports Animal. JJ Buck, joined by former Lobo quarterback Ned James, and our next guest is the defensive representative for New Mexico at Mountain West Media Days. It is senior safety Jarek Reed joining us on the opening drive. Jarek, what's up, man? How you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. Thank you for having me on the show.
Thanks for the time. So let's get to your journey to the University of New Mexico. You're from Olive Branch, Mississippi, played at Northwest Mississippi Community College before you became a Lobo. So are you more Mississippi, you more Tennessee, or more New Mexico at this point in time?
I think I still got my roots from back at home, so I'm still more Mississippi with a little bit of splash of Memphis. But, New Mexico is growing on me. I've been here for 2.5 years, so, I've brought in the culture, Fun fact is it took me 2 years to get into green and red chili. So this year, to be exact, was my first time ever trying either one of those. And that's one of the biggest things, I think, being in New Mexico, you can try is green or red chili.
And with that, it's not just the culture of the football program, it's the culture of the community. You're talking about the chili and the food. What have you thought about what Albuquerque has been like overall for you?
Albuquerque food has surprised me. Coming from the South, we're raised on soul food, our collard greens, sweet potatoes, stuff like that. So coming out here, excuse me?
I said, you're making me hungry.
Man, look, I'm taking a trip back home next week to be exact. I miss it too much. But no, coming out here, it was a big cultural shock with the food, to be exact. I wasn't a big enchilada guy, taco guy, but I'm starting to like it. Once you eat it so much, you just, you begin to just get used to it and start enjoying it more and more. And, once you get like a home cooked meal from like my coach, Coach Howes, his wife Tammy cooked for us a couple times, and I just started liking it a lot more. So I like the food here.
I like the food, and the football is definitely getting better. We're talking with Jarek Reed, Lobo senior safety. Those last two games, you guys, it looked like it was just going to be the end to a tough season. You're out there in Las Vegas. You're down to QB5 on the depth chart with Isaiah Chavez. What did it mean for this football program to win those last two games to go into this year?
Oh, it meant a lot, man. For starters, it's better. The record was still not good. 2-5 is not good at all, but it's way better than being 0-7, So going into those last two games, we could have just easily folded and said, you know what, man, I'm ready to go home. Let's just get these two games over with. We're on our fifth-string quarterback. We can't win. But, it was just a lot of guys bought in, Some guys went home. Those guys that went home, they wasn't good for the program. And so once them guys left, and it was just a full team of dedicated, bought-in guys, going into that game, it didn't matter who we had. They could have had me at quarterback, you know. We just had a full team that was dedicated, and then we went out there and played the toughest games that we could have. We know we came out with the win, and that was big for the program going into the offseason. A whole lot of hype, a whole lot of just, you know, we can see it now that we can actually win. You know, it's not a long shot. We just got to play.
Hey, Jarek, Ned James here. I know you. It's been rough on you guys. I finally got a chance to come over and see you guys and been around you guys, and I just appreciate everything you've done in the community with coming over and helping in the cultural center and talking to young people around the Albuquerque area. I mean, I know it's been over a year since you guys did that, so hopefully we can transition you guys back to doing that now that you're here in town and you guys are not in Las Vegas practicing. But I had a couple questions just because I'm watching you guys out there working out and getting ready for the upcoming season. You guys are flying around out there on defense. It's just great to watch the intensity of what you guys have been doing and getting prepared for this upcoming season. But I just want to know, I've got a couple questions. The first question I have for you is, you know, being all-conference safety, and you're looking out there and watching our wide receivers, we've got some really good wide receivers, I think, coming back this coming season. Out of the receiving group, give me your top receiver or top three receivers that you see coming at you, because I know you guys are flying around playing well on defense. But on our team, who do you see as one of the top three receivers? And then I got one more question to follow that up after that.
All right, top three. Put me on the spot here. I wouldn't even give it an order. I just name you like the three top guys that I just feel like, you know, challenge us defensive wise. Andrew Erickson for one. You know, he's a guy from New Mexico that people look at and be like, oh, he's just a little kid from New Mexico. He can't be good. But actually, he's a very talented receiver. Came here as a walk-on, earned his scholarship, and just been getting better as the year's been going on. So I got him. I got Emmanuel Logan Green. That's my dog. We battle every single day at practice. Yeah. You know, it's just me and him go back and forth every day. So I got to put him in there. And that third one can be a whole lot of guys. You know, you got Derek Shrugs, you got C.J. Boone, the transfer from Missouri. Elijah Queen, the young guy. Yeah. You know, his intangibles. He's tall. He breaks off his route. He creates separation. So I feel like on the outside, Elijah Queen is for sure one of the top three guys too. Yeah.
Now, the other question I have for you is, I'm watching these hype videos. Who's got the best hype video on the team? Because everybody's coming out with their own thing, and I'm telling you, you guys got some work to do. I saw this Nick Starkel from San Jose State with the 2 chains. What's it called? Money Ain't the Thing, or whatever it is. But Nick Starkel's hype video, y'all got some catching up to do. Who's got the best hype video of all the Lobo football players?
Man,
don't tell me you guys are behind the ball on the hype videos.
I feel like we really are, man. I feel like we really are behind. We just been focused on, you know, all that flash stuff is cool. We're gonna get there, but we just been focused on, you know, getting this team to where we need to be. You know, Nick Farber, he can do that. You know, he just won a Mountain West championship for his team. We're trying to get there. You get what I'm saying? So all that flashy stuff, we can worry about that later. We're trying to just buy in right now, lock in, do what we got to do, so we can, you know, win that 5th conference championship. So I feel like we are behind the 8 ball with the hype videos. But hey, give us some time. This year we're gonna be going. By the end of the season, that little money ain't everything. Whatever he said on his little hype video, it's gonna be irrelevant.
Yeah,
it's gonna be irrelevant at the end of the season.
That is a winning quote right there. Jarek Reed joining us on the opening drive, Lobo senior safety. Jarek, to that point, how have you guys bought in to that philosophy, just the toughness, the work that it takes, what Danny Gonzalez and company have done? You know, what has sold you guys on their message?
It goes back all the way back until we was in Vegas, you know. We came in, a whole new coaching staff just came up for 3-9 season. We got a whole new coaching staff. We saw them for a couple months, then COVID hit. Boom, 4 months, no coach, no practice, no nothing. We come back in the summer. It's COVID regulated. We're not really together as a team. And then we get shipped off to Vegas. And then when we was there those first 5 games, we had a whole lot of guys just like not bought in, doing their own thing. Or I'm a senior, so I don't have to listen to these coach stuff. I'm not going to be here next year. A whole lot of everything. So, it got to a point where Coach G had to, put his foot down. And like I said earlier, it was guys that came to Vegas with us that didn't leave at the end of the season with us, They ended up in the flight bought, and they flew back home and never came back to New Mexico. It's tough. That's the business of the game. If you're not going to buy in, if you're not going to be a team, then you're not going to be here very long. And it was a handful of guys that, Coach G sent home, and us players was like, hey, either you act right or you just not going to play here. And it was just like they end up leaving. And so I feel like once those guys left, like I think the last game we lost to Utah State, right? So after that game, we had 2, maybe 3 guys leave after that game, right? And then once that handful of cancer cells left the team, and you see what happened the next 2 games, we ended up winning. And it was the best games we ever played that whole year. So I just feel like we just saw that and just started trusting our coaches. They don't lie to us. They keep it straight. If you were a terrible player that day, they're going to tell you, oh, you were a terrible player today. Do better than tomorrow. They're going to correct you respectfully. And I just feel like doing that and just having that mutual respect both ways, coach to player, player to coach, that just goes a long way. And I just feel like, bringing the right guys in the right program, people start buying in real quick.
Jarek Reed joining us on the opening drive. Jarek, lastly for you, as you go to Vegas, you're representing the University of New Mexico. What does that mean for you to have this opportunity, and what message do you want to send to the rest of the conference about Lobo football?
Oh, it means the world, man. Honestly, I did not expect to be here on media day. I really didn't even think about it. I was in a weight room one day working out. Coach G come to me, pulled me to the side, like, hey, July 21st, you're coming to Vegas. I'm like, what's in Vegas? They're like, media day. I was like, oh, man. I thanked them right on the spot. Well, that's big. Only 2 people get to go off a whole team of like 80 to 100 players. But that means the world. I worked hard for this. Coach G, and all the other coaches believe and trust me to represent this school. And to all the younger guys and all the people in the conference, we've been slept on for a while. Just keep sleeping on us. The polls say that we're last in the conference. That's cool. You know what I'm saying? Because just like everybody else in this conference, you got to play every single Saturday. So, we're going to see at the end of this year who's the best.
Well, Jarek, man, appreciate the time. Best of luck to you and the squad moving forward. Thank you so much, and great stuff, and have fun in Vegas.
Thank you so much for having me. Have a nice day.
That is Jarek Reed bringing it this morning here on the opening drive, and that's the kind of guys that are leading this Lobo football team into year 2 under head coach Danny Gonzalez. It's the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Opening drive, Jeff Siembieda, JJ Buck. Micah, Josh produces for you today over on the ProView Network side, where you can watch the show worldwide on ProViewNetworks.com or statewide at Comcast Channel 26.
Hey, welcome to the Steve Davis Show.
Good morning and welcome to Sports Desk live on Comcast Channel 26.
Welcome to The Point with Nick Rich.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 10, America Talking Out.
I'm Pastor Flora Padilla of Mending Broken Hearts.
Welcome to Henry T. Game Face Live, Comcast 26, and Big Bad ProView Network.
Often imitated, never duplicated. Welcome to Local Focus with Sebastian Noel.
Welcome, sports fans. It's that time of the week again. You are watching the Weekly Rundown.
Hey, welcome to Red Menace TV here on ProView Network.
Hello, I'm Steve Davis. You are watching Public Access TV.
Center fielder, Cade Bell on first. Here's the pitch to Heath. Struck him out. And great pitching by Alvarado. That'll do it for the Tigers in the top of the 5th.
A great crowd for a mid-afternoon game. Swing and a miss, and there's a strikeout, number 5 for Matt Romero.
Smith talking to the batter here. That's a... Oh, wow. Well, nice, and that's an out.
What did I tell you? That gets over the head of the right fielder. That's going to bring in 2 runs. As Adrian Martinez with the RBI double.
Towards the latter part. Pitch, and that's other way for a single. That's going to score 2. That makes the score 9-0. So RBI double. That's going to make it. That's it. It's 10 runs there.
1-0's the count. And this one's high. It's going deep. And it's going to fall in. He's digging for third, and he gets there. Ezra Mestas with the 3-bagger. He gets the triple, and 2 more runs scored.
Steal to third base.
He brought the hot sauce for strike 3.
Small ball team for Reed Fiegel this year. That one is hit on the line to left. It's going to send Avila back to the warning track, to the wall, and he's going to watch it go. It's a solo homer off the bat of Bo Kidd. One nothing Eagles. Just when we were talking about small ball, the Eagles played long ball. Put over with 2 outs here. That boy's well hit to left. Coming in on it is Morrison. He drops it, and the Ravens win it.
For your business or your home, Valley Fence stands alone. We're number 1 in New Mexico for a reason. It's the best fence you can own. Proudly serving New Mexico for over 50 years. At Valley Fence, the difference is clear. No fence too big, too small, or difficult. We handle them all at Valley Fence Company.
Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend. Visit clarkspet.com.
Dream Style Roofing tops them all. When your roof's worn out and needs to be replaced, we're gonna do it right, put a smile on your face. They're at home, things are looking up when you get your roof done by someone you can trust. Dream Style, a company name that's been around forever. No one does it better. You need a new roof, you know who to call. Dream Style Roofing tops them all.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
DOT reminds you to toss no mas. 95.9 FM and AM 610. The Sports Animal. Sports Animal.
What'd you think of Jarek Reed? That was awesome.
Yeah.
That was really open. That was honest.
Yeah.
Great conversation, great insight into what this team went through in Las Vegas and why those last 2 games were so important for this squad going into the season. And it is, because it was all about timing. It was year 1, and Jarek said it. This team, they could have folded, they could have packed it in, been like, woe is us. We've been stuck in Las Vegas this entire season. It ain't working. We'll be 0-7. and so it happens next year. But winning those 2 games with a walk-on true freshman quarterback against Wyoming and Fresno State, teams that have been beating New Mexico regularly over the last few years, does provide a lot of hype and a lot of confidence going into this season, but also not just for the community and buying tickets and selling tickets. These players have that belief going, look, at just in that moment what we did, now if we put it together from week 1, what could the season look like?
Yeah, and I really enjoy it. I mean, this is the kind of kid you really, this is what college athletics is all about. I mean, this kid, not only is an all-conference player, came back, he's adapted to this environment. He's been a part of the community. I had him go out and speak to a middle school group of kids in Albuquerque, and I mean, he was just phenomenal. I mean, these guys, they do a lot. People really don't realize how much they do on top of the fact that they're here playing football and going to school. And he's just a testament to what the college athlete or the student athlete should really be. And yeah, he's someone that we have to look forward to watching, and the fact that he's able to kind of articulate everything, the cancer analogy with the players that didn't make it, down in Las Vegas. I mean, it's like being in Camp Tondazona back in Arizona, where they took them up to Flagstaff, and a lot of guys didn't make it out of Camp Tondazona, didn't make it out of that training camp. A lot of guys don't make it out of that camp. You take them into camp, but they think they can, withstand the rigors of strenuous activity and meetings and school and all that. And it's not meant for everyone to do it. And the guys that come out the better. That's why I'm a fan of Isaiah Chavez. I mean, people, you call him QB5, which was interesting. In all respects, he was a walk-on. And the fact that, that kid won 2 Mountain West Conference games, and people look at him and say, hey, he's not the biggest kid.
QB5 is a legend.
Doesn't throw spirals.
He could not play another game, and I will always remember QB5.
Me too. And I'm a former quarterback, and so he is probably my favorite guy. And I'm thinking, it's just his whole just persona, his whole, just the vibe you get being around him, and I joke with him all the time. I says, man, I'm an East LA guy, so I mean, I'm telling you, you're huge out west in California, because I send his picture to Ron Jenkins, and Ron sends it to Trent Dilfer all the time, because I said, our walk-on quarterback beat Fresno State. Those are Fresno State legends, and I said, you're my hero right now, and he's like, yeah, but he's just a humble kid, just a hard-working guy, just is a team guy. All those traits you expect from a leader, I see in Isaiah Chavez, and so it's exciting that you have Jarek Reed on, and the fact that Jarek is participating in this community of Albuquerque outside of just being a athlete, a fine athlete. Is really, really a telling sign of where things are to come with this UNM football team.
That is Ned James, JJ Buck. Mr. Bob is producing, taking your calls 246-0610 is Equan's Auto Care Hotline. You can hit us up as well on the NMDOT text line 505-246-0610. So we do have the official 2021 predicted order of finish released by the Mountain West Conference. And let's start in the West Division. In your defending Mountain West champ, San Jose State Spartans are picked second behind Nevada. So the Nevada Wolfpack picked to finish first in the West. San Jose State 2, and get this, San Diego State 3. When's the last time the Aztecs were not picked to win that division? So it shows you the work that's been done at Nevada and San Jose State. They are followed up by Fresno State, Hawaii, and UNLV in the West Division. The West has gotten so much better over the last few years, because you look at Hawaii in 5th place, and I easily see that team potentially being a bowl team and winning 6 games this season. So the West is very strong. You're defending Mountain West Conference champs. San Jose State picks second behind Nevada. Let's go to the Mountain Division. No surprise. Who's picked to finish first? Boise State. But number 2, Wyoming Cowboys, followed by Air Force, Colorado State, Utah State, then New Mexico.
It sounds like a QB ranking, because all the QBs that are ranked high in the conference are picked ahead of everyone else. I mean, it's a QB sport. It seems like it's becoming now, with football being really tied to how well your QB plays and what kind of a player you have at that position. And so it'll be interesting because we're going to break down the quarterbacks here eventually today, and so that'll be interesting to see what we think of the quarterbacks for each of these teams, because a lot of these teams, the way they go is the way of the quarterback, and
it's all about style, and that's, you see a much different way a quarterback is graded in college versus the pros, because you look at a lot of these teams and what Wyoming and Air Force ask their quarterbacks to do, and the Lobos to a certain extent is a lot different than what Nevada and San Jose State are asking of their signal callers, but it still goes back to being able to execute the identity of your offense. So the predicted order of finish is out, and you heard it there from Jerry Reed. He says, keep sleeping on the Lobos. Keep sleeping on us.
Yeah.
And we'll see what happens at the end of the season.
Yes, I love it. I love his confidence. I mean, the kid is special, and he's going to determine a lot of how well these quarterbacks play because of the position he plays. That safety position is important in this Lobo scheme, and so how well he performs this season will be telling, because he's going to face these top-notch quarterbacks, and the Mountain West, and it's always been that way. You know, I always tell those SEC guys and guys back east and the Pac-12 guys and Big Ten guys, you know, we invented the passing game in the Mountain West Conference and in the WAC in the old days. And so we taught the world how to pass the football. So, you know, once again, we've got two guys that are potential NFL ranked high quarterbacks, and we got one in town that I think, you know, I was a little apprehensive of at first, but now I think, you know, he may be moving up the ranks.
What does Ned think of the new Lobo quarterback, Terry Wilson? We can get into that as we look at the quarterbacks in the conference. The opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Foo Fighters are coming to Isleta Amphitheater August 9th, and we've got your tickets.
Here at Legacy, we are here to disciple people by helping them connect with God, grow in relationships, and live generously.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend. Visit clarkspet.com.
A rogue virus, no jobs, sky-high tuition debt. Life is trying to put our generation on the sidelines. But we refuse to just sit back and watch it pass us by. Instead, watch us fly ahead. Watch us overcome anything. Watch us rise. Watch us change our world. Watch us become the next greatest generation.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a #1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Calling all football players, are you looking to develop your skills this season? It's never too late or too early to put in the work. Coach Carl Barrere and the Air Barrere program at 8 Grady's Performance Center provide comprehensive position training for aspiring football players at all levels. Whether you're looking to increase your speed, gain strength, or hone your skill, we train all positions with a team of experienced coaches who know what it takes to succeed at all levels from Yaffle to college. Check us out at 8gradies.com to learn more and sign up for training today.
Jackson Compaction wants to help you keep your green.
And keep the community green as well.
Jackson Compaction has worked hard to maintain the same prices since day one. Always easy and painless trash removal with professional crews and quality service. If it's non-hazardous waste, debris, or trash on your land, leave it to us. At Jackson Compaction, we're dedicated to ensuring the conservation of our environment.
You trash it,
we smash it. Jackson Compaction, we've earned a reputation for great results.
Turbo Threads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. Turbo Threads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for Turbo Threads.
Next in line.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks. DCE Systems want to help schools reopen and keep students, teachers, and staff safe. New Mexico's distributor of no-valent Shield Plus, an antimicrobial hand sanitizer that lasts 24 hours. That's right, 24 hours. 1 liter will provide approximately 2,000 individual applications. Call Louis Ruffin today at 505-507-7722 or go to DCESystemsInc.com.
Got to have that strong foundation, but quarterback play can take you to the next level. You look at San Jose State. They built a program, but they got a quarterback that helped take their team to the next level last season. What does that look like this year in the Mountain West? Opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, The Sports Animal. JJ Buck, joined by our quarterback, Ned James, Bob Camp producing, Adrian producing on ProView Networks. You can watch the show Comcast Channel 26, and of course all across the social media pages. Just search ProView Networks on Facebook. Give them a like, a follow, or find us as well. Facebook.com/TheOD in the AM. So last week, Pro Football Focus, their college page, put out their 1 through 130 quarterback rankings using their analytics for college football. No surprise that the top-ranked Mountain West quarterback and actually the 11th-ranked quarterback in their system overall was Carson Strong of Nevada. I agree. I do think that he is the best quarterback in the Mountain West. But then you had Jake Haener, Fresno State, Nick Starkel, and then some of the guys that were way low on the list, like Hazik Daniels at Air Force or Sean Chambers at Wyoming. And I didn't think that was fair, because that's not necessarily taking into account what they're asked to do. Because Hazik Daniels is a good quarterback, because what does he do? He runs the option offense. That's still a skill. So if you're comparing him to a Carson Strong or Nick Starkel, he's probably not going to compare favorably when you're talking quarterbacks, but what do they do? What are they asked to do? And he runs the option offense very well. So we went back, and I'll give you my Mountain West quarterback ranking list, Ned, as we go into this season. So my number 1 quarterback is Carson Strong. You look at what he did last year. This was a crazy stat. He had 4 touchdowns that traveled 50 yards in the air last season. No other quarterback in the country had 1. That's just one of those oddities of the explosive performance that Nevada had. Number 2, I have Nick Starkel as the second best quarterback in the Mountain West. You saw a huge progression from the former Arkansas quarterback in that San Jose State offense, having the weapons he had on the perimeter. That's going to be the biggest thing for San Jose State is, what do their playmakers look like this season. At number 3, I have Chevin Cordero of Hawaii. I'm a big Cordero fan. I like his dual threat ability. He can make some big-time plays with his legs and put the football where it needs to be going downfield. Number 4 for me was the Boise State duo, whether it's Hank Bachmeier or Jack Sears. I think both those guys, when they have played, even though it was limited last season, each have the tools to be very successful in that offense. Number 5, it's the Fresno State quarterback, Jake Haener. Now, Haener last year in just 6 games completed 64% of his passes at 14 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Now, it's the one that I've gotten some pushback on from people saying that he is the guy that needs to be higher on the list, but we shall see. 6th-ranked quarterback, I had Terry Wilson, and it's resume. What he has done at Kentucky, now coming over to the system at UNM with Derek Wareheim. I think he deserves, even before playing a game in the Mountain West, to be there at number 6. Then it was Zeke Daniels, Air Force, at 7. Sean Chambers, Wyoming, at 8. Logan Bonner, who I'm assuming is going to win the job, much like Terry Wilson, the transfer from Arkansas State, went to Utah State, joining new head coach Blake Anderson, who came from Arkansas State. And it's Lucas Johnson at 11. 10 was Justin Rogers, TCU transfer for UNLV. Lucas Johnson, the quarterback at San Diego State. And then Todd Centennial at 12 from Colorado State. So a lot of questions at the back end, but the top is pretty good in the Mountain West.
Yeah, I think, when they're ranking these quarterbacks, they're ranking them for the NFL. They're ranking them as they see them as pro athletes because, like you said, Zeke Daniels, option guys, Chambers, guys are really good runners. Guys could really do it with their legs. It's not fair to kind of put them in a different, rankings just because their style of play. With all that being said, the list that you put out there, Starkle has a number 1 hype video, so he's got to go number 1 because this video is really good. So the quarterbacks get way too much credit when you win and way too much blame when you lose. The fact that this Carson Strong guy is seen as a NFL prospect, is he? Who knows? The fact that he had those 50-yard bombers, is it him or is it the guy that he threw
running underneath it?
The dude Dubs, that dude is the dude. If you have the dude to throw the ball to, a lot of times it makes you a pretty good player. That's why I was asking, I got to keep Jarek Reed. Because I get him mixed up with Patrick Peak, so I have to remember his name. So Jarek Reed, that's why I was asking who's the best receiver we have, because, that's going to be important. You got to have a number 1 guy. You got to have a number 1 running back, and we'll get into that later. But the fact that if you got a dude out there that can go up and get it, and you've got people have got to account for him. You can't play those man schemes because they're just going to launch it, and he's just better than your guy, and he's going to grab it, he's going to pull it down, and so. That's why, and the Jake Haener guy, I mean, to get sacked 9 times in a game, I mean, you're putting it on the quarterback or the coach that terrible that he gets a guy sacked 9 times in a college football game. Is something that, you really have to kind of think about. But as far as the quarterbacks go, Hank Barr, the guy at Boise, because Boise's always the team to beat. We're going to see if he or the SC transfer Sears is going to be the starter. I mean, you got to wonder if why they brought in Sears if Hank Bachmeier is that good. Why would they bring in the transfer from USC? And you go through the other ones, these other transfers that are coming in. You just don't know how they're going to play. But I do like our kid, the Terry Wilson kid. I know Brad Hughes. A lot of people are not talking about him because he's had the 2 years off in the shoulder. We've got the freshman CJ. I can't think of CJ's last name, out of Mater Dei out in California. He's a really promising Montez. Yes. Promising looking young player. And so there's a lot of elements that go into and we could talk about our offense and the style of offense we play. We've got to figure out a way to keep these quarterbacks upright. We got to quit getting these quarterbacks hurt. The offensive line plays a big part of that. And what style of offense we're going to run, how many times we're going to run that quarterback, put him in harm's way. Those all are factors in whether or not who's going to be the top quarterback in this league. Now, I will say this, the pedigree, who comes with the best pedigree? Now, I know Starkle won the conference, and Strong's being looked at by NFL teams, But I tell you, this Terry Wilson coming in with 10 wins in the SEC, 10-3 record. And I know he's had some injury issue in the past, but boy, I was pleasantly surprised when I got out to watch him play and practice a little bit. He's a little bit better than I thought he was going to be, throwing the ball. I mean, I've got to look at some film. I think if I saw a little tape, I can kind of get a better gauge of, how he is. But just talking to him intellectually, he's bright. Seems like a good guy. I don't know, some of the other stuff, but he's mature, and I think that'll help. But like I said, you got to keep. We've had some issues with quarterbacks, and it hasn't just been this staff; it's been in the past as well. Keeping those guys upright during the course of the season. So we'll see what happens. And your ranking is good, but I think it's a lot of the pro stuff, a lot of the things that
you can get caught up with the shiny stuff of Carson Strong, the long bombs, Nick Starkel. That's why, for me, they're still down the list, but I want to credit Hazik Daniels or Sean Chambers. Yeah. Like, all right, they might not be the best throwers of the football, but they execute the offense that they're asked to, and they're impactful in those plays. Like Chambers and his legs, his strength, Hazik Daniels. You running that triple option offense isn't easy, because you have to be able to make quick decisions, even dive, holding it on the outside, taking those hits as a quarterback.
And you don't have the receivers that the other guy has at Nevada. I mean, that Dubs kid is the real deal, and so I'm curious to see where he's ranked. But we'll see. Moving forward. I don't know anybody else that has a receiver like that. I'm looking for a guy. That's why I asked him. It's interesting the guys that he gave you, because I don't see them guys like he sees them. But he sees them more than I do, and so I mean, you have to definitely give Jarek Reed the benefit of the doubt on that. But I got to see a number one guy. I know the interest in Andrew Erickson and his toughness and what he's come, being a walk-on but is he a number one? I want to know who that number one dude is. That's why I gave him a list of 3, and which was unfair. And Emmanuel Logan Green is good, but I've seen some other guys out there that look good in shorts. But when the game starts,
on and play the game.
You got to play the game.
It's the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Jeff Siembieda, JJ Buck. Mike, Josh produces for you today over on the ProView Network side, where you can watch the show worldwide on ProViewNetworks.com or statewide Comcast Channel 26.
Hey, welcome to the Steve Davis Show.
Good morning and welcome to Sports Desk Live on Comcast Channel 26.
Welcome to The Point with Nick Rich.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 10, America Talking Out.
I'm Pastor Flora Padilla of Mending Broken Hearts.
Welcome to Henry T. Game Face Live, Comcast 26, and Big Bad ProView Network.
Often imitated, never duplicated. Welcome to Local Focus with Sebastian Noel.
Welcome, sports fans. It's that time of the week again. You are watching the Weekly Rundown.
Hey, welcome to Red Menace TV here on ProView Network.
Hello, I'm Steve Davis. You are watching Public Access TV.
Center fielder, Caden Bell on first. Here's the pitch to Heath. Struck him out. And great pitching by Alvarado. That'll do it for the Tigers in the top of the 5th. A great crowd for a mid-afternoon game. Swing and a miss, and there's a strikeout, number 5 for Matt Romero.
Smith talking to the batter here. That's oh, wow. Nice, and that's an out.
What did I tell you? That one's that gets over the head of the right fielder. That's going to bring in 2 runs as Adrian Martinez with the RBI double.
Towards the latter part. Pitch, and that's another way for a single. That's going to score 2. That makes the score 9-0. So RBI double. That's going to make it. That's it. 10 runs there.
One-0's the count. And this one's high. It's going deep. And it's going to fall in. He's digging for third, and he gets there. Ezra messed us with the three-bagger. He gets the triple, and 2 more runs scored.
Steal to third base.
And he brought the hot sauce for strike 3.
Small ball team for Reed Fiegel this year. That one is hit on the line to left. It's going to send Avila back to the warning track, to the wall, and he's going to watch it go. It's a solo homer off the bat of Bo Kidd. One nothing Eagles. Just when we were talking about small ball, the Eagles played long ball. Put over with 2 outs here. That boy's well hit to left. Coming in on it is Morrison. He drops it, and the Ravens win it.
For your business or your home, Valley Fence stands alone. We're number 1 in New Mexico for a reason. It's the best fence you can own. Proudly serving New Mexico for over 50 years. At Valley Fence, the difference is clear. No fence too big, too small, or difficult. We handle them all at Valley Fence Company.
Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend. Visit clarkspet.com.
Dream Style Roofing tops them all. When your roof's worn out and needs to be replaced, we're gonna do it right, put a smile on your face. They're at home, things are looking up when you get your roof done by someone you can trust. Dream Style, a company name that's been around forever. No one does it better. You need a new roof, you know who to call. Dream Style Roofing tops them all.
Giannis Antetokounmpo, 50 points last night. Milwaukee Bucks defeat the Phoenix Suns to win the NBA championship. And this morning, Giannis was on his Instagram in the Chick-fil-A drive-thru, and he ordered a 50-piece. Not 51, 50-piece.
49.
And he's so nice.
He is.
So the Chick-fil-A attendant, you know, they have him out there because those lines get busy.
Yeah.
So they got to be efficient. So the young lady was taking the order. And Giannis even was like, "Can I put you on camera?" Like he's even that at that moment in time. He's on his cell phone IG, asks this young lady, "Can I put you on camera?" She's like, "Oh, of course." Turns it around and go, "Oh, by the way, there's 150,000 people watching you right now on IG Live." She's like, "Oh, okay." And he orders a 50-piece, and then he says, "I will take a half Sprite, half lemonade, no ice." That right there is big time. Giannis about ready to move into his Supermax deal.
Yeah.
He's got a Supermax contract on deck, but he understands the game. No ice, because what do? They fill that thing with ice, so they don't have to give you your Sprite. It's like
they save on the Sprite.
Quarter cup of Sprite, an entire cup of ice. Giannis still playing the game. He's the humble superstar. Give me that 50-piece from Chick-fil-A and that large drink with no ice, because I ain't playing no games. I want my Sprite and lemonade.
Yes. A man who knows exactly what he wants. A man who wants Sprite and lemonade. Put the ice on the side.
No ice. I know your games. You fill that cup up with ice so I don't get my drink. I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. But Giannis dropping 50 last night and getting the 50-piece today. It's opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the sports animal. JJ Buck and Ned James, Mr. Bob, taking your calls 2460610. That's Quan's Auto Care Hotline. Fred, you're on the opening drive. What's up, Fred?
Hey, JJ. Hey, Ned. Hey, you're talking about receivers, and I wanted to get Ned's ideas of what he thinks of this guy and if he's even watched the guy. The Wysong kid reminds me of Terrence Massive totally. He ran the 100, won the 100, won the 200, missed winning the 400 by 0.2 of a second, anchored the 4x100. I mean, he's faster than heck, and then he also scores 5 touchdowns in the, I don't know if you call it championship game. I don't even know what they called it, but whatever it was called, he scores 5 touchdowns. This guy's got hands. He's got speed. He runs a 10.5 500. Have you had a chance to watch him in high school, Ned?
I've heard of this kid, and that's why while you were talking, I was going through my mind, but I have not seen him out here yet. Has he been at practices?
Yep. Luke Wysong, freshman from Cleveland High School.
Yeah, Luke Wysong.
Oh, the freshman. Oh, the freshman
yeah,
kid.
The
okay.
Freshman. Yeah. Well, that's why I was going to say he's a freshman. We don't usually give freshmen a chance to start, but this guy just resembles parents so much, like running back punts, kickoffs, whatever. He's the size of him, too. He's 5'10", weighs about 180. I think Math is a little bit lighter, but very similar. And I really think he could start. I
have to see him. Once they put the pads on, when you're coming from high school to college and they put the pads on, it really changes, because right now the freshman kids are swimming because the game is so fast. You're getting different coverage that you don't get in high school. You got different quarterbacks throwing the ball to you in different ways. And so it'll be interesting to see once they get into pads and once they, they start running around. It's really tough to watch a young player play against this rocky, long style defense, because a lot of times it's either quick or you're going to have to make the one-on-one play against guys who are really playing aggressive. So I'll keep an eye out for him. There's a lot of things that was a little bit different with Terrence, because Terrence came in as a quarterback and then he eventually moved to the slot receiver position, and then he was so athletic, he could, it was a different time and a different style of offense. We played a little option, so Terrence was really kind of an option running back / quarterback / slot receiver. So he kind of evolved along the way. But I'll keep an eye out for him. That speed, that time. That's
anyway,
going to be something
all I
to
was
look
calling
for.
about. And hey, where did you? I kind of for a second my phone went out. The Lobos are picked where, JJ?
The Lobos are picked 6th in the Mountain Division. So at the bottom, Fred, appreciate the phone call. And that's not a surprise. They still have a lot to prove. They did only win 2 games last year. And this is, of course, still kind of the opinions from everyone around the conference. There's been a different energy, different feeling about this football team for Lobo fans. But still, if you're on the outside looking in, you see it's still a 2-win football team coming into this year. Yeah, with the quarterback issue up in the air now, you get excited about the transfers, but you just never know how the transfers are going to make out in a new system and, just learning and that sort of thing. But Terry Wilson, he seems like he's the real deal, so we'll see. One thing did want to get in our condolences to the O'Neill family. Brian O'Neill passed away, and, of course, Joe O'Neill, know him well. He's been in radio, been in sports radio, and his brother Brian coached the University of New Mexico, been a big figure in basketball here in the state of New Mexico. Siembieda High alum Brian O'Neill passed away at the age of 56 after an 18-month battle with cancer. So just wanted to send our thoughts to the O'Neill family. He coached under Dave Bliss at the University of New Mexico, did Brian a few times. I met him, always enjoyed talking to him. He was a great impact in the sports community, whether it was calling games, coaching games, being a presence in the state of New Mexico for young players in basketball. So our thoughts just out to the O'Neill family for the passing of Brian O'Neill, which happened, I heard a little bit ago that he was battling this and died at the age of 56. So our thoughts and prayers go out to the O'Neill family, because I know how big a part of the sports community they are here in the state of New Mexico. It's opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the sports animal. So we're going to get a lot more talking from Mountain West Media Days. But if they're as good as Jarek Reed, there could be some fun conversations ahead. So that's where Jeff is, getting ready to head out to Las Vegas. So we'll have a lot of sound for you from coaches and players around the Mountain West Conference as we get back to a season. And we're looking at non-conference play. We're looking at conference play and getting back together at University Stadium. And I think that's what I'm looking for is, I've been to New Mexico United game. I was able to do some Olympic sports, whether it was UNM soccer, softball, baseball, been out to those atmospheres, but finally getting that moment, whether it's University Stadium or the Pit, having that 15,000, 20,000 fans in the crowd. Can't wait for that energy, the atmosphere, because you saw it last night. Now, it's not going to be NBA Finals level atmosphere. I'm not talking about that. But just that excitement, that energy, and that hope you can have early in the season.
Yes, I'm just looking forward to people. You get to be around people, and hopefully, we'll get more people vaccinated. Get out there, get your vaccinations around the country so we can keep opening things up and keep this bad virus at bay. I think people are being responsible and people are doing the best they can, and I'm hoping our governor kind of helps us with that as well, and we can get on with the business of sports, which we all love and enjoy.
Absolutely, Ned, appreciate it.
Hey.
Running it back tomorrow. Big thank you to Jarek Reed, Lobo Senior Safety, for joining us on the opening drive. Got a lot of stuff on deck tomorrow, not just sound from Mountain West Media Days, but we're going to talk about a local athlete, a Lobo, that's in Tokyo.
Oh, Olympics.
The Olympics. A lot of representatives from UNM, but we have multiple athletes, I should say, from Albuquerque, New Mexico, over in Tokyo right now as the Olympics get underway. We've got the Jim Rome Show coming up next. Colin Cowherd follows that Sports Bar later this afternoon at 4 with the Mike Crew. Big thanks to Bobcat. As always, everybody, Metal World Peace and Love. We'll talk tomorrow.
Are you sure we're supposed to be doing this?
Don't worry, I've watched him do it 1,000 times. Come on, what's the worst that can happen?
No! Bad dog!
Hi, welcome to Car Crafters. What happened?
Don't worry, we'll make it like it never happened.
Car Crafters, it's like it never happened.
CarCraft.